On the news, more outrage over Plateau wedding killings as Reps Minority Caucus demands federal government action. Nigerian Senate asks federal government to investigate Mokwa flood and other similar incidents. And Tinubu commissions 15-kilometer A2 junction to Pai Access Road project. News now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simsalatikum. The Minority Caucus of Nigeria's House of Representatives has strongly condemned the brutal killing of some members of the Basawa community in Zaria, Kaduna State, who were ambushed on their way to a wedding ceremony in Pau, Plateau State on Friday, June 21. The overall death toll from the attack stands at 31. The lawmakers also pointed to the ongoing violence in Mangu local government area, where 19 more people were reportedly killed and several homes razed just a night before the ambush. The caucus urged both the Plateau State government and federal government to take immediate and coordinated action, including fostering intercommunal dialogue, activating early warning systems, and ensuring that perpetrators of the violence are swiftly brought to justice. Weeks after the devastating floods that struck Mokwa town in Niger State and nearby communities after intense rainfall, the Senate has urged the federal government to launch an investigation into the incident along with other flooding occurrences across the country. The Senate underscored the importance of the investigation in formulating long-term strategies, including the development of improved and sustainable flood control infrastructure and early warning systems to mitigate future disasters. These resolutions stemmed from a motion moved by Senator representing Niger South Senatorial District, Peter Gia, and backed by more than 20 senators during Tuesday's plenary session.
The measures put in place by the relevant MDAs to foresaw the occurrence or mitigate the devastating impact of the flood, especially in the affected communities, was not significantly fed. The Senate therefore observes that the federal government responded and intervened through the visit of the Vice President, the National Emergency Agency, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, and other relevant agencies of government, as well as NGOs and traditional rulers, through the directive of the Etsunupe and other well-meaning Nigerians responded by providing immediate relief materials. However, due to the magnitude of the disaster and the massive casualties recorded, the resources provided has been overwhelmed.
We'll continue to experience flooding that will ravage communities, destroy farmlands, and we will be caught napping again. So I want to use my contribution to thank NIMET for sending out these warnings. But our government must take very serious action in dredging our waterways.
This motion, we all heard about what happened, and we all sympathize with the people, with the governor and the entire people of Niger State, and also extend our condolences to the families of those who lost their lives.
President Bola Tinubu has assured the newly commissioned A2 junction to Pai Road will boost ranching and rural development, reduce conflict, and improve local livelihoods. The president gave the assurance during the commissioning of the 15-kilometer project delivered by the Federal Capital Territory Administration to commemorate his second anniversary in office. TV360's Joy Uchejim has the report.
The A2 junction on the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway to Pai Town refers to a strategic rural access corridor connecting the main Abuja-Lokoja highway with Pai Town, a community located within the Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. However, the community's potential has remained untapped due to inadequate road infrastructure. President Tinubu says the narrative is changing with the rehabilitation of the road, which is opening up new opportunities for growth and development. He highlights the role of communities like PI in driving food production and local enterprise, urging residents to take full ownership of the new road.
For our great farmers and livestock owners to establish the opportunity for grazing and do what is necessary, we will help you. We will work with you. We will convert what used to be a liability and a source of conflict to a means of prosperity. The time has come to Kwale, a rural area, Abuja, to commission the 15-kilometer A2 to Pai Town Road.
Tinubu further pledged sustained infrastructure development nationwide to enhance citizens' well-being.
It opens a new corridor for agricultural, commerce, education, mobility, and all necessary to strengthen our national economy from the grassroots up. Rural communities such as PI make important contributions to Nigeria's social and economic fabric, especially in food production and local enterprise.
In his remarks, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike commends the President for prioritizing infrastructure development in both the city and satellite towns since assuming office on May 29, 2023.
We are talking about food security. With this, those of you who want to be farmers, real farmers, we are willing to pay compensation to communities and give you farmland so that we'll come out of the food problem which the federal government is trying to solve.
The newly commissioned A2 Junction Pai Road is part of broader efforts to improve rural infrastructure and access across the country, with expectations for long-term development outcomes. Joy Ucheje, TV360, Lagos.
And to party matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has called on the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) to resolve the confusion over its national secretary position. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu made the call during a closed-door meeting with the PDP's National Working Committee on Tuesday in Abuja, where he noted that the meeting was held at the party's request to seek guidance on internal leadership issues. Acting PDP Chairman Iliya Damagam said the discussion followed a letter from INEC about the party's upcoming 100th NEC meeting, which the Commission was asked to monitor.
We are here today to discuss and interact with you sincerely because we had NEC and there was a decision of NEC which mandated me to sign a letter to avoid controversy. And I have received your reply on that letter, urging us to be guided by certain rules. So I think we are here to interact sincerely with you, off camera, so that it will guide us when we get back to have a position that will further, help in taking these positions that we found ourselves. I think I would stop here.
In the last couple of months, we received letters from the party saying that one Mr. Ude Okoye was the secretary. Thereafter, the party changed its mind and said it was Senator Anyang. Thereafter, the party changed its mind to say that it's Mr. Shokwedo. And again, the party changed its mind to say it's Anyang. And the last letter from the party actually has no secretary at all. It was only signed by the chairman, which we responded to. But we are here as the registrar and regulators of political parties. And we hope when we go into the working session, we will fully understand where you are coming from and what more you expect from us as the registrar and regulator of political parties.
And ahead of this year's Africa Infrastructure and Climate Change Summit, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has restated the federal government's commitment to infrastructure development, energy transition, environmental sustainability, and inclusive economic growth under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Represented by the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs, the SGF also called for Africa to play a stronger role in global climate discussions, ensuring the continent's specific needs and capabilities are reflected in international solutions. The summit, set for August 11 to 14th in Abuja, aims to convene key stakeholders to drive sustainable development through innovative climate-smart initiatives.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, under the Renew Hope agenda, has prioritized strategic infrastructure development, energy transition, environmental sustainability, and inclusive economic growth. These priorities align with the goals of the summit and underscore Nigerians' readiness to lead and collaborate on multi-stakeholder approaches towards climate resilience and development financing. Today's engagement is a clarion call to governments, the private sector, development partners, and the diplomatic community to align efforts, pool resources, and harmonize policies. It is also an opportunity to reassert Africans' voice and agency in the global climate discourse.
Our engagement today serves three strategic purposes. One, to brief the global and local media on the goals, structure, and expected impact of AIC 2025. To mobilize multilateral and bilateral support ahead of the summit, ensuring broad-based ownership and full participation, including exhibition, speakers, sponsorship, and so on and so forth. 3, to reinforce stakeholders' alignment with the summit's goal pillars: green infrastructure, climate resilience, gender inclusion, and bankable investment partnership.
Stories. Families of deceased workers from the defunct Nigeria Airways are urging relevant authorities to release the outstanding pension payment owed to their late relatives. They explained that they submitted all required documents and secured approvals from all necessary bodies, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. However, they allege that Nigeria Airways authorities have excluded beneficiaries whose relatives died in or before 2010 from the payments list, a decision they consider unfair and deeply disheartening. During a peaceful appeal, the families assure they are not seeking conflict but are simply demanding justice.
We are gathering here together with others, as you are seeing, concerning the payment that was to be made to all the next of kin of the deceased. But to our surprise, on Friday, there was a conference held by the ex-staff that about 396 next of kings of these departed ones, ex-staff of Nigerian Airways, will not be paid. So we are here peacefully in protest. That is why we are gathering here for. They should look into the case. For instance, look at, if you may cite it, see what they say they will collect. This process has been ongoing for a long time. Postponing. And now they are now coming up and say 396 next of kin will not be paid. Where is it done? When we have already been cleared.
I am begging the Nigerians, all the country, to please temper justice with mercy and pay our late father who has died. They have children, they have wives, they have responsibility who they have left back home. At least with this little empowerment, it's going to help us as well. Please, we are calling to Nigeria, we are calling to our excellencies, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please, to help us. We don't want to say we are not here for violence, we are not here for problem. We don't even have energy to fight. None of us have eaten this morning, talk less of say we want to fight. With the way Nigeria is going right now, please, they should help us. Nobody should put their legs on this money. They should pay this money to us, to the deceased families. Please, I'm begging on behalf of Nigeria, on behalf of Nigerian Airways, to please help us. We would even love if Nigerian Airways will still come back in existence again.
We'll take a short break now. Still to come on the news. Uganda's President Museveni seeks re-election for 7th term. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our main stories. The Minority Caucus of Nigeria's House of Representatives has strongly condemned the brutal killing of some members of the Basawa community in Zaria, Kaduna State, who were ambushed on their way to a wedding ceremony in Plateau State on Friday, June 21. The lawmakers urge both the Plateau State and federal government to take immediate and coordinative action, including fostering inter-communal dialogue, activating early warning systems, and ensuring that perpetrators of the violence are swiftly brought to justice. And weeks after the devastating flood struck Mokwa town in Niger State and nearby communities, after intense rainfall, the Senate has urged the federal government to launch an investigation into the incident, along with other flooding occurrences across the country. This resolution stemmed from a motion moved by Senator representing Niger South Senatorial District, Peter Gia, and backed by more than 20 senators during Tuesday's plenary session. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, and for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
The new Nigeria is possible
a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DG360, dissecting the issues.
Tamilare Akinkwoliya joins us with business news. Tamilare.
Thank you, Simi. Hello and welcome to Business News. Now, Nigeria is strengthening its partnership with China with a renewed focus on boosting trade, attracting investment, and promoting technology transfer. At the 2025 Nigeria-China Sustainable Bilateral Business, Trade and Investment Summit in Lagos, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-China Parliamentary Relations, government officials and industry leaders explored how closer cooperation can spur long-term economic development. Now, TV360's Comfort Samuel has more details in this next report.
The summit was convened by key stakeholders from Nigeria and China to explore opportunities for strengthening trade and investment partnerships, while also examining legislative strategies to enhance the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Addressing the gathering, the Director General of the Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership and Globalizing says the summit is a catalyst for stronger Nigeria-China economic ties, pointing to its alignment with both Nigeria's ongoing reforms and China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative.
Very first time in our national legislative history that a dedicated arm of parliament has taken such a bold and visionary step to convey critical stakeholders, including policy leaders, investors, development partners, and institutional actors towards charting a common legislative pathway that not only strengthens the Sino-Nigerian trade relations, but makes Nigeria a more attractive and secure investment destination for Chinese enterprises.
In their separate remarks, members of the Nigeria's lower house of parliament described the summit as a significant milestone in the shared objective of enhancing economic cooperation between Nigeria and China.
This summit is an affirmation of the mutual commitment of our two great nations to institutional cooperation, legislative engagement, and people-centered development. Indeed, Mr. Speaker is especially pleased at this summit to reflect on a continuum of recent high-level engagements, such as the visit of His Excellency Mr. Zheng Qinwei and Mr. Hu Chuho to our country and also to the House of Representatives, both of whom have reinforced a new era of mutual respect that deepens the bilateral relations between our two nations.
I am highly honored and delighted to host this summit toward a legislative agenda on ease of doing business. This term underscores our commitment to creating an enabling environment that fosters trade, investment, and economic growth.
On his part, China's Economic and Trade Counselor restated Nigeria's standing as its foremost African trade and investment partner, noting that President Tinubu's recent visit to China laid a solid foundation for future economic collaboration.
In Africa, last year, His Excellency President Tinubu had a successful state visit to China and reached an extensive agreement with our President, His Excellency Xi Jinping. And also, they agreed to update our bilateral relationships to the comprehensive strategic cooperation partnership, which opened a new gate for our cooperation to the extensive areas for Nigeria's development.
Speaking further, The executive officer of the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission reaffirmed the commission's commitment to aligning bilateral partnerships with Nigeria's local content and sustainability goals, citing Executive Order 41 as the framework guiding China-Nigeria investments towards meaningful local industry growth.
From the presentations you must have heard so far, there is unfavorable trade imbalance between our nation and China, and it's instructive for us to be intentional about addressing such an imbalance.
Various agreements and partnerships have been established between Nigeria and Chinese businesses, paving the way for increased cooperation and investment opportunities. Comfort Samuel, TV360 News, Lagos.
We'll take a breather here and be back with stock market reports. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian exchange market extended its positive momentum into the second trading day of the week, recording stronger gains than the previous session. The all-share price index appreciated by 1.02%, pushing the overall market capitalization to an impressive 75 trillion naira. Now, a total of 130 listed equities participated in today's trading session, with 61 stocks closing in the greens and 23 recording losses. Okomu Oil Palm led the gainers chart with a 10% increase, closing at 748 naira per share, followed closely by Better Glass Company, who also maintained its upward trajectory, continue its bullish run from Monday. Now, trading activities remained robust as investors exchanged 756 million volumes of shares, valued at 23 billion naira in 22,206 deals. Now, on the global front, selected international stocks closed higher as signs of stability emerged from the Middle East, with the Israel-Iran ceasefire holding steady, bringing some relief to investor sentiment. Now, meanwhile, in the foreign exchange market, the naira remains under pressure. On the black market, it exchanged 1,620 naira to the US dollar, 2,015 naira to the British pound, and 1,720 naira to the euros. And that's it on both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Tamilore. And on the foreign scene, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni is seeking re-election for a 7th term in polls which are due early next year. Electoral Commission Chief of the ruling National Resistance Movement, Tanga Odoi, announced Museveni would pick up expression of interest forms at the party's headquarters on June 28. The move will extend the nearly 4-decade rule of the East African nation. Museveni, who turns 81 in September, has been in power since 1986 after he led a 5-year guerrilla war to kick Milton Obote and later Tito Okello out of the State House. And on sports, Nigeria's Super Falcons will arrive in Morocco on Wednesday for their final preparations ahead of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations after holding Portugal to a 0-0 draw in a friendly on Monday. The players are scheduled to have a light training session on Tuesday before departing for Morocco. The Super Falcons have another friendly scheduled for Sunday against the Black Queens of Ghana. Well, that's it on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.